All right, so I am recording this for anybody who couldn't hop on. I'm going to share my screen a little bit and show you where to find all the tools that you need for holding your own tasting. Okay, I'm going to talk about the different types of parties that you can have, maybe some different fun theme ideas, and then just generally how a tasting goes, because sometimes we don't know how the flow of it works. So I think that will be helpful to some of you, especially because some of you have events this weekend. All right. So feel free to interrupt, ask questions, and then we'll do like a little Q&A at the end. I wanted to first start off by saying that hopefully everybody knows that you have an incentive on the line here. Alice already earned it. So Alice. But that's not going to stop her. She's going to keep on going. And keep your momentum going because today was in fact payday. So anything that you did from the first to this part of the month, you get paid on today. And then anything you do the second half of the month, you get paid on at the end of the month. So in order to create a consistent paycheck, you want to make sure that you keep on booking consistently. You want to have the same number of events as at the beginning of the month as you have at the end of the month. So what a general good rule of thumb to do is make sure that you have your bookings scheduled within a 2-week time frame. So if I'm working on booking right now, I'm working on booking still the end of June. So I'm still working on seeing if I can squish one more event at the end of June. So I know Alice is working on holding her own, so that's awesome. Wendy, you have one this weekend. Erica has one this weekend. So the more you can do closest to this time period, the more opportunity that's going to get you to then book early July. Okay. If you wait until mid-July to have an event, you're kind of just like wasting that whole month. So if you want to have consistent paychecks, make sure you have, 1 or 2 events at the beginning of the month, 1 or 2 events at the end of the month, or however much income you want to have. To create that consistency in your paycheck. And that can look a lot of different ways. You could be doing virtual events where you do something like just a Facebook event. And we have a team group that I actually did last month, and I ran it for everybody in the group. Maybe I'll do it again. I don't know. But basically, I had everybody give me their own party link. So Erica had her own, Wendy, you'd have your own, Alice, Tanza, Lisa, you'd all have your own links. I would post them in the announcements to make a multi-hostess event, and then I did the posting. So I did everything for you, and you invited your friends just to show you the flow of how a party that's online works. And then I went live, and I shared 6 bottles of wine. So that was something I did for the team last month. Maybe I will do it at some point next week. I'll have to think on it and see if I have time to fit it in next week. But it was nice because it kind of showed you, and it's a good reference point that you can look back on. So if you aren't a part of that group that I made it, you can either do a group or an event. Okay, there is a slight difference. Events, the posts will stay in place. So if you number them, like it'll be like post number 1 at the bottom, then 2, then 3. But groups, when people comment on them, it shuffles the posts. Okay, so that's kind of the difference between posting in a group and an event. I use them both. You can go live in both. So what I would recommend that you do is for every single event that you have in person or online, I always create a Facebook event or group because you want to get people excited. You want to get people engaged right away. So you want to have those posts happening through the week before. It's a really good idea to make sure that events are no more than like 4 or 5 days. You don't want to make your events like 2 weeks long. You want to create a sense of urgency. So if you are hosting an event next Friday, okay, I typically don't start setting that event up. I might set the event up and save the date, but I won't actually post in it until like a week before the event. So you could set it up and have the hostess invite people, but you don't want to prolong your post that long. You want to make it short and sweet and to the point. So you can do an event that way, where you're just doing it solely in a group or an event, okay? Or maybe you pick 6 wines and you personally just go live on the page and you explain those wines. There's no, there might not be any sort of in-home or anything like that. Maybe it's just somebody who wants just a Facebook event. Now, are your sales going to be higher if you do something either like a live Zoom chat, like what we're doing, or an in-home tasting? Yes. You want to have engagement with your guests, but I do sometimes have people, like I had a nonprofit who didn't choose to do either of those things. Her sales were 500. It was okay, but it could have been much more. So think about that and kind of, tell your hostess that even if they might live far away, there still is that option of doing a Zoom chat, just like we're doing right here. So that is option number 2. So option number 2 is a virtual chat, a virtual tasting. So that is where I would create a group or an event, just like we were talking about. I would post for maybe, I don't know, like a week before. I would give people the opportunity. I would set the tasting menu with the host. So if Erica was my hostess, I would say like maybe a week and a half before the event, I would say, Erica, what 6 wines would you like me to feature in our Zoom tasting? And we would come up with a menu. I have one of these already created, several of them that I've been doing this month. So if you want to see the flow of that type of party, just let me know and I can, give that to you. Everything that I do, you are welcome to literally like borrow, steal, change. You can just duplicate it. I have everything done. All you have to do is just replace your event link or my event link with your event link. So I don't want anyone to think that, if you're thinking I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing. It literally is just plugging in your information, and whoever your mentor is, whether it's me or Erica, obviously on this call, we're here to help you. You're not alone in this. So we have the scripts, we have the pictures, we have the posts, the words to say. Like literally, I have everything that I even text the hostess. I can give you what I text the hostess in order to text to their friends. So there should be no reason why you can't just plug these things in and give it a try. It's going to take some practice, but just definitely, the more exposure that you can put out there and try it, the better off you're going to be as far as, you'll get better with it every time you do it. So that's the virtual tasting. I'll post about 4 or 5 days out. I'll give people a week to order. So I'll post the ordering directions. I'll say what our tasting menu is. I'll give them time to order, and they don't have to order. Like that's the thing. They can either choose to order all 6 bottles that we want to taste, or maybe Alice and Wendy want to go in together and they want to meet at Wendy's house and they want to have, only maybe 2 of the wines that we're tasting. And they want to reserve the other 4 that they purchased for some other night, because sometimes people don't want to open all 6 if it's just like 2 people tasting them. So that's fine too. Or maybe they just want to hop on the Zoom with their own wine. The fundraiser that I'm doing tomorrow night, only 1 person bought ahead of time. So I'm basically going to be going live with the bottles in hand, and I always save all my empty bottles. I'll save, not all of them, but I'll save like 1 of each varietal. So then that way, if I'm doing something like this, and I never did this before, but until COVID, I wasn't really doing virtual tasting like this. But for that purpose, I'm just going to basically hold up the bottle and read the back of the bottle right in front of whoever my audience is on the screen. So that way, my hopes is that after they learn more about ONEHOPE, then they'll place the order. So that's how a virtual event works. Usually for virtual events, if it's people I know, I did one for couples like Erica is doing, and I gave her the categories, the adult categories idea. So we played couples categories, and in between every 2 wines, I did a categories game. So we did game night and grapes that give back. So you can get everybody, what I would recommend, get everybody on a text chain. And I usually will ask the hostess to start the text. add everybody who's coming, and then I post the first post. So I'll say, like in the text message, I'll say, here are the directions for tonight's Zoom chat. And I'll say, I'll list their tasting menu. I'll give them a pairing menu, the pairing menu picture that I can give you of what pairs well with every wine in case they want to create their charcuterie board or something like that, to have, you know, while we're doing this whole thing. And you'll find that people do, because if you are doing this live in person, people would have cheese, chocolate, things like that to pair with. So it's kind of nice to give them a suggestion. There's a graphic that I have that does suggest all of your, you know, pairing suggestions that match that specific bottle. So you can pull from that. You can go on the website and the pairing suggestions are right there if you click on each bottle. So I give them that in the message. I give them the Zoom link, and I give them what my event link is and my phone number. And so I'll give them that. I have the verbiage for that too. So if you need that, I can literally copy and paste it to you. You can change it for your own information, and that way you have everything you need to text that group. The reason why I do that is a couple reasons. One, so that they know who I am. Two, so they have all the information that they need. And three, because then I can follow up with them. See, when you're doing something virtually, it's not like you're doing something in person where you can make that relationship with them and you can get them to order right away. So by me having them on a group text chat, it helps the hostess, because anytime I get an order, I can then go on that text chat and I can say, thanks so much, Wendy, for placing your order. You're going to love your sparkling brut and your Prosecco or whatever it is. And that just kind of jogs everybody else's memory. Oh yeah, I need to order. Okay. Or it gives them an idea of what they want. Then also the hostess can then use that to follow up with people too. Whereas if I just do the Zoom chat and then I'm like, bye, see you later, thanks for coming, I've lost all those people. I have zero connection with them. Now, they now have my number. So I always tell people, save my number as Wine Jenna or something in your phone. So then if I'm going to text them in the future to follow up with them, now they know who I am. The other purpose for me doing that is because typically with virtual tastings, I like to put the lead form, and I'm going to show you guys where to get the lead form. But I put the lead form in the message. So I'll take a picture of it. I'll put the lead form in the text chat, and I'll say anybody who fills out this lead form, or at least the message with their name, their email address, whether they'd like to host, what causes are important to them. If you send that to me, either you can take a picture of it if they have it, or they can just send me the information. I'll enter you into a raffle to get $10 back on your shipping. I'll Venmo you if you order. Okay, so that's another incentive for them to order. So I usually will do that. I'll Venmo or PayPal the person who wins. So based off of all the engagement posts that I put in the actual event, because I do engagement posts in that, and that I'll draw a name that way. Okay, so that what that does for me is it gives me a reason to follow up. So I make sure I do that. So creating that, and then I also put the 7 pictures of the different wines that we carry. So I probably you have seen them floating around. There's a page on cabs, there's a page on sparklings, there's a page on Pinot Noirs. All the sweet wines are listed on one. They're not 100% up to date because our out of stock list and our low inventory list keeps changing. So just make sure no matter what you do, no matter what event, that you always look up the low inventory list. And you can just actually go on Google if you don't know where to find it and just search like ONEHOPE low inventory list or something like that, and you'll find it. If you can't find that in our back office, I Google it every time and then I find it. So just familiarize yourself with what that is before every party, because then you can tell people, you know, what might be out of stock that way. So no matter what you're doing, whether it is a virtual event, in-home tasting event, you want to make sure that you are giving those people the options of what they can purchase, because we don't just have those 6 wines that they might taste or that you might show. We have about 50. So I like to give them that recommendation guide and also the wine profile tasting menu that shows what they might like. So it's a really great visual that says if you like fruity, sweet wines, you'll like these wines. If you like sparkling wines, you'll like these wines. So if you don't have that graphic, let me know and I can send it to you. But these are all things that I just keep saved in my phone. And then anytime anybody wants to purchase something, that's always my first question. Do you like sweet or dry? Do you like red or white? And then, what kinds of varietals of wines do you drink is what I ask. And then based off of what they say, I text them the appropriate picture. And then I'll give them some recommendations. And what I like to do is I like to give them at least 6. Because if you're giving them at least 6 recommendations, you're planting that seed that they should build a half a case. Because you're trying to get them to become a preferred customer. Okay, so if someone says to you, I love Moscato, don't just give them the Moscatos that we say. Say, if you love Moscato, try our Muscat and our Moscato and our Symphony and our Sparkling Peach. You may also like our semi-sweet Riesling, our Gewürztraminer, our Viognier. If you like sweet reds or dessert wines, you might like the port-style Dessert 2912. Prosecco, if you want to add a little bit of juice to it, like what you see in my picture back there, to make a really yummy mimosa. So do you see how like that kind of plants the seed? Okay, well, maybe I want to try all these things. And if I do that, then I can get a discount. Whereas if I'm just buying 1 bottle of Moscato, I'm going to pay $9 in shipping and get 1 bottle at regular cost. Or I'll say if they don't want 6 bottles, I'll say, do you have any friends or family or neighbors or anybody that you know who may also want a bottle, who could go in on that with you? That person would then become the preferred customer, get the discount, then they would get paid. And I always help them figure out who owes them what. Okay, so offer that service to them. But that way you're upselling. You're creating a half or a full case and you're creating a preferred customer for yourself rather than just getting single bottle orders. Any order is great, but if you can get them to do a preferred customer, especially now till the end of the month when we have a sale on it and it's free to join, now is the time to do that. You want to create a sense of urgency. So for those of you who are having parties, that's why I always say, whether it's virtual or in-home, make sure that you always create that deadline for ordering. It really should be, if you're in home, it should be happening at the party. Okay, there's no reason why they shouldn't order if they're not at the party. If it's virtual, create like a 2-day deadline. We're closing the party. It's Wednesday, or it's not Wednesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday night. So we're closing the party Thursday. Okay. Thursday comes around. Wednesday comes around. I'm going to thank everybody for joining me that night. I'm going to give them the list of the seven pictures of the types of wines that we have in the text message virtually. Give them the link again. Remind them of the special, the 15% off of 6 bottles, the 30% off of 12. And the half price shipping. And I have that verbiage. If you need it, just let me know. And then the next day, if someone orders, or even that night, I'm going to say, thank you, Alice, for placing your order of whatever it is. The next day, I'm going to send out a message that maybe is a video of the customer special or something related to what we just did. And I will remind them again, Thursday is the last day to place an order. And on Thursday, I'm going to remind them again. And then I will text the hostess individually. Do you know anybody who didn't attend the party who you think might want to purchase? And then I will ask the hostess, would you like to purchase against your own party? Because that will bring up your total. And if they get to 500, then they get 10% back in wine credit to spend. And it comes in the form of a gift card. It's a little code that they're going to get. And they can use it within 90 days. Okay, so that's why I personally always have an event open of my own. So I've had one open since March, and I just go into the event description, the details of the event when you create an event, and I change the date, and I keep changing it. And whatever date you set in there, the party will technically close 21 days after you set the date. So I've had my event for March of Dimes open since like the end of March. It's already over $6,000. So what does that mean? That means that March of Dimes is getting $630 so far, and I am getting $630 in free wine. Okay, so that is why you always want to have your own event open, because any random orders that you get, if it's not associated with an event that you're currently doing, I mean, I have like 7 or 8 events open right now. But if someone just goes on my website, because as you build your customer base, you're going to get repeat customers, and wine is consumable. So you will have people that become subscribers, that become preferred customers, and you won't have to do anything for those orders. They're just going to order. But if I notice that an order comes through and I get an email notification, all I need to do is look up the event ID that I want it to go under. It's a 5-digit number that's under event details. And I email support@onehopewine.com, and I give them the event number, which is that 5-digit number, and I give them the order number that was sent to me of whoever ordered. It's like it says order number. You'll get a receipt. And I say, can you please move order number, whatever it is, under this event? And I give them the event ID, and they will move your order for you under the event that you want. So if you ever have an order go in the wrong place, email support@onehopewine.com, and they will put it where you need it to go. And that's how I've been able to build that party as high as it is. I haven't actually physically had a party for that event. That was solely from random orders that I've received from customers that have just placed orders. And because of that, the give back is wonderful, but also like, I mean, $630 of wine, it's pretty awesome. You can't drink it right now, but I'm pretty excited to stock up on it. So that is something to keep in mind. You know, you can keep changing your event, have one for yourself at all times. Whenever you post on your business page or your main page, use that event link. You know, even put it in the comments of the post, because if you put something in the comments, it'll help boost your post. Anytime someone comments under it, comment back. Okay. So that's a little bit about virtual tastings. There's a lot of different banners that I have created that you can use. So for instance, I did like tons of different banners. I made all these different pictures. So the game night and grapes that give back. You would do like a Bad Moms theme. I have the picture of that on a banner. I have a team member right now who is actually doing that. Bryn is doing that and posting Bad Mom quotes and things like that. So anything that you can do to make it fun, engaging, entertaining, instead of just naming it, you know, One Hope Wine Party, it kind of draws people in. So winos, women in need of sips and sanity. I did something related to homeschooling, even though we're past that at this point. But if you need any ideas, theme parties are my thing. If I could be a party planner instead of a teacher, that would be my job. So I can create a theme out of anything, and I love making graphics. So if you have an idea in your head and you just need help executing it, please let me know. I do have a lot of ideas, and I'm more than happy to share the graphics with you that I've created. I also have created a ton of branded graphics. If you want to join the team event that I created last month, you'll see what I mean. I have created engagement posts. I've created recipes, cocktails, anything. So anything that you see that has like the pink squiggly lines on it in the graphic, those are things that I've created. And you are welcome to take those. Go on my business page, Grateful Giving, and you know, scroll through and just kind of like search for that. Okay. The other thing you want to make sure you're doing for any of your events is making sure that your posts are varied. So what I mean by that, even on your Facebook walls and things like that, make sure that your posts are, there's 5 different types of posts. So make sure that only 1 out of every 5 are selling something. So you want to make sure that 1 out of every 5 are business related, selling, joining, hosting. Those are all business type posts. The other posts might be, celebrating somebody. The other posts might be a quote, like a motivational quote, maybe recipes, things that, pictures that have wine in them, but things where you're selling but not selling. So if Tanza has a really great dinner that she has created, and she has her bottle of ONEHOPE sitting next to her while she's eating, take a picture of your dinner with the bottle and just post it. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to post a link, but just keeping all of those things fresh in their mind really helps. So one of the posts that I made was a cookie. I made a chocolate chip cookie recipe that Dan, our in-home chef for ONEHOPE, made, and he made it gluten-free for me. So I took a picture of it. I stuck a bottle of cab next to it because he loves pairing cookies and cab. I took a picture of my daughter making it with me, and that was a post. So it's a post that I'm sharing something that I'm doing with her, but I'm also infusing ONEHOPE into it. So it's kind of like you're being intentional about your posts, but you're not selling, if that makes sense. So try to vary those posts in your, on your Facebook pages and in your events as well. It could also be something where you're giving wine education. We have a ton of different facts. I have facts on, like, sometimes people will say that there are sulfates in wine, or there's like kind of like myth busters that Mari, our winemaker, has created. So you can look up those as well. She does a live every Tuesday and on the community page, and she usually shares things that way. Another great place that you can get information is the ONEHOPE blog. So if you go to your website, and you'll see at the very, very bottom, it'll say blog, where it says about and join, and then there's blog. Right off of your website. So you can search. That's where I get like all the sangria recipes and all the other recipes. There's something for every holiday that they post. So you can get a ton of really great information just by looking at the blog. Okay, so there's lots of different posts that you want to vary and try that method. Okay. Now, as far as in-home tastings, this is the bulk of what we do. In-home tastings are by far my favorite part of this job. It is so much fun to go into someone's home or outside of someone's home and do a tasting. It really, really is. If you can imagine how fun it is, I know wine tasting is one of my favorite hobbies to do. I love that's how I fell in love with wine, is just going from winery to winery and tasting wine. But that's pretty much what you're doing. You're bringing the in-home Napa Valley wine tasting experience to them. That's what you're doing. And it is super easy, and it's so much fun. I don't want anyone to think that, just because you're new, you can't do something like this. I teach full time, and I go through this like thought process in my head at the beginning of every school year, where I sit there and I say to myself, no matter what grade that I've taught K to 6, and I always say, like, oh, I'm so nervous about the first day of school. And it doesn't matter whether I'm teaching kindergartners or 5th or 6th graders. You get that gut feeling in your body that's like, I'm scared. Like, you don't know if you're going to do the right thing. And you have to keep in mind that your hostess doesn't know what you're supposed to be doing. Just like my students have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing. So keep that in mind. What is really cool about doing ONEHOPE wine tastings is that all the facts are right on your bottle for the most part. So you have to fake it until you make it. Like you just make it happen. It's not, and the cool thing about it is that everyone's drinking, having a good time. They have no clue what you're supposed to be saying. If you get stuck, you just read the back of the bottle. Okay. So I know I mentioned some cool themes. When I started, it was fall. So I did things like candy and wine pairing, like Halloween candy and wine pairing. I did hollow wine. Okay. I did so many like crazy like fall themes. For the winter, I did Winter Wonderland, and it just makes it more fun. But some cool ideas for the summer, especially now that we're getting back into it and we're thinking about doing, outdoor type events. Some cool things you can do are driveway drinks, patio Pinots and Prosecco. You could do backyard bubbles, an all bubbly tasting, really, really fun. Like you set up like a mimosa bar, because we do have 6 different sparklings. You could do the 3 demi-sec flavored, you could do the sparkling rosé, and then the Prosecco and the Brut. Okay, so that's really fun. You could do summertime social sips. You could do sangria and sips. If you can't tell, I love alliterations. So I can make up a theme literally about anything. So patio pours, whatever. It could be anything. So the reason why you do that is because you want to sound unique. You want to sound fun. You want to bring the fun to the party. And if you just offer to do something like, let's have a ONEHOPE tasting. Okay, well, what's that? Whereas if you theme it, it gives the hostess some excitement. It gives people something to say, what is that? Like, that sounds really cool. Let me go to that. The one that I am trying to plan is a sangria and sips. And basically what I'm doing is, because some of my hostesses, you'll find that once you start with a group of people, one friend will host it, and then the next one, someone will book off of that one. And by the end of it, they've all had a tasting. So you go through a group of friends, and it's kind of cool because you really get to know a specific group because they all want to have a tasting. So in order to vary that tasting, what I thought about doing was a sangria and sips, picking just 3 wines and getting doubles of those wines. So getting 2 of a sparkling, 2 of a dry white, and then 2 of a red. So I was going to probably pick the Prosecco, the Pinot Grigio, and the red blend. And I was going to have them taste the wine by itself. So start with the Prosecco. And then I was going to pick 3 different cocktail recipes or sangria recipes using those 3 wines. So that's why I was going to call it sangria and sips. So I was going to have them to just show like the versatility of what we offer, because sometimes people don't want just the wine. Some people aren't wine drinkers. Some people are just cocktail drinkers. So you can show them that you can add lemonade to the sparkling citron. Okay, you can show them that you can use our Riesling in a lot of different cocktails on our Pinot Grigio, because anything that has lemon or lime in it in regards to a cocktail, you can sub our Riesling or our Pinot Grigio because they have that lime, citrus, lemon notes to it. So showing the versatility of our wine is really cool. So I thought about, if it's somebody that maybe has been to many tastings and things like that, something like that would be really cool, because then they don't have to say, oh, I've done that before. And we do have 50 different varietals of wine. So definitely feel free to, go outside of the box and share those kinds of things with them about how they can choose different wines. Maybe it's an all bubbly tasting, because really you only pick one bubbly. So it's not something that they would have tried. So in regards to what you would include in your tasting, I am going to share my screen, and this is a document that has been posted. I put it in our group chat. Just to give you an idea, you want to make sure that you have your hostess schedule a date and pick a 501c3. So it could be whether you're doing a virtual or a InHome, it can be any 501c3. So any organization that has a tax ID number, EIN number, really anybody. There is no rules in regards to that, okay? Creating your event link, I think all of you know how to do that now. There are several different ways you can create this. You could be creating it for you yourself. You're the hostess. You could be doing it for a customer, or you could be doing it directly with a nonprofit. Okay, so if you don't have the directions on how to create your own event link, I have those, and so does Erica. We can give you that. okay? If you are doing an in-home tasting, you're going to need a 6-bottle host kit, okay? So that, when you go to create your event, it's going to say, do you need wine for your event? You can click skip for now if you're not sure. No if it's a virtual event, but yes if it is a in-home tasting. Now, when you all earn your $300 of wine, or not $300 of wine, when you earn your 6 bottles for selling $300 of wine, it's going to appear in your credit section on your dashboard. When you go to create your event, it's going to say you have 1 host credit. When that pops up, you'll know that that host credit is ready to be spent. And when it says, would you like to use your host credit, you can say yes.